The Shang civilization, which lasted from around 1600 to 1046 BCE, stands as one of the earliest and most influential cultures in Chinese history. It's actually the first dynasty in China for which we have both written records and solid archaeological evidence, and that really marks the true beginning of Chinese recorded history. The Shang Dynasty arose after the Neolithic cultures and followed the semi-legendary Jia Dynasty. Its heartland was the Yellow River Valley in North China, a region rich in fertile soil called loess that, supported strong agricultural development. The dynasty's capitals moved several times, but the most famous and final capital was Anyang, also called Yin, where many key artifacts and inscriptions have been found. The Shang government was a monarchy led by a king, who ruled with the help of a warrior aristocracy. There were about 29 or 30 kings over the nearly 600-year span of the dynasty. The king's authority was both religious and political. He was seen as the chief intermediary between the people, their ancestors, and the gods. The king appointed local governors and officials, often from noble families, to manage different regions and activities such as agriculture, military, and rituals. So the Shang used a feudal system, where land, known as fiefs, was given to nobles in exchange for, loyalty, tribute, and military support. The king's power really depended on the loyalty of these aristocrats, who were often also military leaders. Shang society was highly stratified. At the top was the royal family and the nobility, or aristocrats, who owned land and held power. Below them were warriors, officials, and craftsmen. The majority of people were actually farmers, who worked the land and supported the upper classes, and at the bottom were slaves and prisoners of war, who were often forced into labor. Family was the basic unit of society led by the eldest male. The family's reputation was super important, and ancestor worship was a central part of life. Religion was deeply woven into Shang life. The Shang worshipped a supreme god called Di, or sometimes referred to as Shang Di, along with, many other gods and ancestral spirits. The king was the chief priest, responsible for performing rituals to communicate with the ancestors and gods. Oracle bones, which were animal bones or turtle shells, were used for divination. The king or priests would ask questions about the future, heat the bones, and interpret the cracks as answers from the ancestors or gods. These oracle bones are actually the earliest known examples of Chinese writing and, they provide valuable historical records. The Shang developed one of the world's earliest writing systems, using pictographic and ideographic characters. Many inscriptions have been found on oracle bones and bronze vessels, showing the beginnings of Chinese literature and record-keeping. So, the Shang were, absolute masters of bronze metallurgy. They made these just beautiful and complex bronze vessels, weapons, and tools. Honestly, their bronze work was unmatched anywhere in China until much later periods. In addition to bronze, the Shang also created glazed pottery, jade carvings, and stone sculptures. They were really skilled in engraving on bones, horns, and shells too. The Shang developed a calendar system based on both lunar and solar cycles, with a 360-day year divided into 12 months. They recorded astronomical observations and developed early forms of astrology. Agriculture was the mainstay, supported by the fertile Yellow River Valley. The Shang grew crops and raised animals, supporting a large population and a class of specialized artisans. Trade and tribute systems existed, with goods such as cowrie shells, bronze, jade, and agricultural products exchanged between regions and social classes. The Shang dynasty ended around 1046 BCE, when it was overthrown by the Zhou people, who came from the west. Despite its fall, the Shang civilization left a lasting legacy. The writing system became the foundation for later Chinese scripts. Ancestor worship and many religious practices continued into later dynasties. Their bronze technology and artistic achievements influenced Chinese culture for centuries. The Shang civilization was a pioneering force in early Chinese history. It laid the groundwork for Chinese culture, government, religion, and technology. Its writing system, bronze art, and ancestor worship became cornerstones of later Chinese dynasties. The Shang's achievements and social organization helped shape the future of one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations.